here's all the honey frames. My son's screwing it up. And this is just a white film that comes off where you can watch the bees. And that sits in there like that. Looks kind of nice. It looks really nice. We've got a couple extra pieces left over, but we'll take care of those. Just kidding. Put the roof on. Let's see this. And there it is. We didn't put those in, so. So we got the box down here where they lay their eggs. Up here is where these are going to be. Right in here. And just like that. And I thought the back was supposed to open. Well, you'll have to look at it later, but the entry must be in the front over here. Oh yeah, okay. This is where the bees enter from, enter and exit. And then you go to the back and get the honey out. And that's what you got. $720 worth? I don't know. Well, we gave it a shot. It looks good. I'll show you guys when I get to the bar tonight. We'll take that film off. Oh, here's the feeder tubes. Got an extra pieces. With feeder tubes go into the into right there, and that's where you get the honey from, and that's where the key comes into, and this is the key. You go in there and turn it both ways. Okay. Right. Okay, we're gonna go now. So we built a 10 frame down here in the 8 frame. The reason I know that is because the 10 frame is bigger than the 8 frame. Eric.
It's brilliant.
What we're gonna do is try some empty without the inserts.
How come you got an insert in there, John? What's going to happen?
Because Dan wants to see.
That's Dan.
If they're going to build them faster, slower, or what the difference is without the inserts.
And we could possibly, when we pull them out, we can cut them off as honeycomb and actually harvest some honeycomb.
Right.
These are our harvest boxes.
These are our harvest boxes. So we got some empty in the 10 frame also. So they go on top of the supers.
What'd you do, John? Or Dan? What did you do?
Showed them that we do have some with the
Yeah, we do have some with the inserts.
middle end, so
Wow, that's impressive. Okay.
thanks.
We're going to put these on top of the brood boxes, and that's when we start to get the honey. We'll see how fast.
Now, what's the difference between a brood box and this box?
The brood box is where they make where they lay the larva, and you have a queen separator on top, and that keeps the queen on the bottom, so she's not up inside of the honey. So
Excellent.
let's take a walk over. And
Something to say?
And we'll be back. We have to get dressed to go by the bees.
oh, we're gonna put on the.
Some of us are.
Some of us are. Some of us are just dumb. We're gonna put the nets over our face so Eric doesn't have a big egg for a ear.
All right, we're back. And John's coming over with this right now if Dan wants to give him a hand with it. And that portion goes to the back.
This is the Flo Hive that you see from Australia.
So we get our top.
So they'll go right inside here if they want. They can go inside here if they want.
Yeah, nope, you're not in the back. There we go.
And if I can remember the guy that invented this, I would thank him, but he's not watching me anyway. He's too rich. Very ingenious. We'll find out how ingenious. I'm gonna show them how that works.
Oh, just gotta get a lip on it, that's all.
Yeah, but we'll.
Look, this has to.
Yeah.
So instead of interrupting them from now on, we'll look in the sides. You see when they get in over here, it's almost done. You got the other thing, the same thing on the other side. For checking them out.
And in the back, that Dan just showed us.
Dan's got one in the back there too.
Yes, he does.
Look at what is this?
Something's missing.
Oh, we're missing a plug.
that
You have extra plugs.
Yeah,
Well, go
that plug doesn't really matter.
All right, we'll still find an extra plug.
We'll find it.
All right. Close her back up, Dan. And this is video number 2. We'll be back shortly.
There's a couple of beehives. A little bit bigger than we are. But it looks like he's got them all shut down for winter. He's got the singles on most of them. And as soon as he's off the phone, we will definitely meet him. The proprietor. What's his name?
Yeah.
Proprietor, yeah. But these are all extra boxes he has. Here's the, I don't know if we ever showed you these before, but these are what our bees came in.
That's what the nucleus.
That's a nuke. The nukes. So he's got plenty of things going on. Plenty of bees. He's been at this for 7 years, but we'll let him tell us about himself as soon as he's done with his business. He's got just an amazing business going on here. All fresh honey. Just amazing. Dan, you got anything to say? Danny.
42, 44, 45, 46, 47 hives.
47 hives.
Plus the 4 up there. So
Yeah.
50 right here. Wow.
So that ain't too bad.
He's
And-
a busy fella.
He's a busy bee.
Buzzy bee.
That's it. Buzzy bees.
Welcome to the Bee Buzz. Today, I'm Dan. John's here.
I'm John.
And this is Sam from
Hey guys.
Buzzy Bee.
From the Buzzy Bee. You can see right on his shirt. Beautiful sweatshirt.
Thank you.
He's hopefully going to be our mentor to teach us, because we showed you before his bee yard. A little bit bigger than our 6 that we have. We've showed you his product already. And now we want to talk to him and ask him some questions about where we might be screwing up and what we might be doing right, which is probably a little more. All right, guys. Should we?
We'll start with the initial question. How did you get started with bees?
So I got started with bees by reading a book. It was called Beekeeping for Dummies, appropriately titled just for me. So I read that book, and after reading that book, and I read it from front cover to back, and I'm not kidding when I say I read every word from the front cover to the back, I did. And it was at that point that I said, I'm going to become a beekeeper.
All right.
Dan.
How did you get started up?
Move in
Should we hug?
a little bit closer.
There. Okay.
There.
Let's put it on wide angle.
I'm trying not to trip over a brick. All right, go ahead.
So then you decided to get started. How did you do that after you're done reading the book?
One of the first steps I took outside of that was I also joined the Milwaukee Waukesha Beekeepers Association, where I currently serve as the vice president.
Okay.
And joining that association allowed me the opportunity to network and communicate with other local beekeepers, whether they were hobbyists or even some other commercial guys as well.
Oh, okay. And you started out with 8 hives, 5 hives?
So the first time we purchased bees, it was 2 packages. I was encouraged to not buy 1, to buy 2. That way you have a second hive to use as a comparison, whether it's good or bad. So if one hive is doing better than another, what am I doing with this hive that can improve this hive? And if this hive died, what happened? And so you always had one for comparison.
And the type of bees, does it make a difference?
So for the most part, yeah, well, you can go yes and no on that. And the reason why I say it is because we're here in Wisconsin. There are some bees that are genetically more used to like colder weathers versus some other bees. That's where that kind of boils down.
Okay, because they got to survive 4 months.
Correct. They got to be able to survive. But, you know, some of my big things that I feel personally is that when it comes to getting bees ready for winter, making sure there's a lot of food for these guys, and you want to make sure you're treating them. The varroa mite is real and very serious. It will take a hive out right away in winter time.
Okay, so there's a treatment for that?
There is a treatment. There are several treatments that people use. So you have things like formic acid pro, Apivar. So those kind of things are for mite treatments. And when you are using those processes, make sure that you are following the manufacturer's recommendations, because there are some things that deal with temperatures and how long they should be on the hive. So there are things you want to make sure you read those instructions and following those instructions is recommended for the team.
Okay.
How many?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, smack me right in my head. See that bee?
Well, you're in it.
Call a cop. How many times a month or year do you harvest your honey?
So this year particularly I did twice. I had my first harvest. It was kind of a dry year. It started off pretty dry. I harvested once in the beginning of July, and then right away again at the beginning of August, because that's when I end my harvest season. By the end of the first week in August, I want to be done pulling honey.
Okay.
To
And
give
let them
these
build
guys,
up their
to
food.
allow these guys to build up their reserves.
Okay.
Yes.
Good, good.
But last year 3 times I was fortunate enough that I started right away in June, and I did it right away in July because I was looking at the stores and I'm like, oh, this is a lot of work for one man. And then again in August because this is the final tea, which turned out to be a pretty good deal as well.
So you can buy things through this association to make connections, like honey or
Correct.
hives or bees.
So one of our biggest bee suppliers, Mr. Tim Wheelbanks with Heritage Honeybee, he's actually probably an active member to every association here in the state of Wisconsin. So he's out in Sullivan, Wisconsin. So you have resources like that, Capital Bee Supply. So those guys, and we do like procure bees that way, and then sometimes with equipments and things. So you have those resources, and even other smaller beekeepers that may have extra equipment that they
Extra
bought,
equipment.
they don't use it, and
Right.
and then of course as long as it's in good condition, or even if it's brand new, they don't mind selling to you. So there's different ways to make connections.
Yeah,
It's
because
all
we
about
need
networking.
those 2 white things right there.
So the hive stands.
Hive stands and 2.
So yeah, so
Too
bottom
little.
boards are different than hive stands. That specifically would be considered a hive stand.
But they'll fit on there.
Oh yeah, they're still standard for the Langstroth hive. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Set up for that.
Well,
It's just a name. I learned that the hard way too. I'm like, oh, this is a bottom board. It's like, oh, it's considered a hive. So the 2 white ones are hive stand, and the one right under the 2 is a bottom board, and then that's a migratory cover on top. They're just extra pieces of equipment.
That's what we're talking
are
about.
sitting to the side there.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna need 2 of those and 2, not supers. What are the other ones?
The deep. So
Yeah.
The deep nut is super.
Yep. The deep.
Right, we'll need 2 of those.
So
If
for
you,
root box.
if you got extra,
Yep.
we'll talk about that after the film.
Great.
So your wife, you had a job.
Yes, I had a job. It was probably about the only good thing for me that came out of COVID. That was that I was able to not have to continue to work a standard 9 to 5. I was able to put more focus into my hobby, with the bees, and I increased every year since then. So
And you just made a full-time job out of it.
Full-time job out of it, correct.
That's great.
How
That
many
is
hives do you
super.
run now?
So I'm about 100 hives. I think I'm at about 100, maybe 110 or so. Yeah.
Okay, so you have how many yards?
So I have a total of 6 different yards. So my home yard, and then there's 5 others from Big Bend, North Prairie, Wells, and Waterville, Genesee as well.
Wow. So you guys got his number. So if you want to get a hold of him, try to get some honey or we'll get some information. Just ask him. You got any?
I think I'm good. I can do the rest off the camera.
Yeah, we could do that. There's nothing else I want to ask. All right. Well,
Thank you guys for taking the time and stopping out and checking out the bees. And
Thank
and having
you.
some questions. Oh, absolutely.
Daniel,
We'll see ya next time on the Bee Buzz. I'm Dan.
I'm John. Have a good day.